30 minutes. And this other storm out of Pauls Valley, you see the Byers area traveling over toward Oil Center, west and north of Ada, and then on up toward the general Holdenville area a bit later on, Seminole County as well, down by Kanawha and Asher. That one has had a tornado on it, and it passed on the northern sides of Pauls Valley and is now rapidly pulling out of Pauls Valley southeast of Byers on the panhandle of McLean County. So that's still a dangerous storm as well. There's the one down by Cornish, which is out of our viewing area. Let's go to the storm scanner, comparing the May 3rd track with the May 20th track today. The May 3rd track is in yellow. The May 20th track today is in red. It was 20 miles long, and it was wider than May 3rd. EF4, EF5 damage, no doubt about that, likely EF5. And again, that was in the red shade. The one major difference is, other than a very similar track otherwise, is it turned more due eastward as it moved directly across the south central parts of Moore, whereas May 3rd turned more to the northeast and then the north up to Hudaburg Drive in Midwest City, and then finally lifted during the afternoon of May 3rd. So 20-mile long track. Kevin and Linda, it is very clear that the damage, I would say, is on the order of magnitude about 3 times more extensive. From what we have seen, I think that's a very clear statement to make than what we had on May 3rd down in Moore. Wow.
All right, Mike, we appreciate your update on that. We have, of course, crews out everywhere right now trying to get the very latest information to you. One of them is Sarah Stewart. She joins us via the telephone. She is near the Moore Medical Center. Sarah, tell us your exact location, what you're seeing, and what you've been told.
Yeah, we're about a quarter of a mile west of the Moore Medical Center, right near that 7-Eleven that I know you guys have been talking about that was just flattened with some people trapped inside. There's a neighborhood back in here along Southwest 6th Street in Moore that is just decimated. These homes are just flattened. Right now, people are out here just sifting through the rubble. We're trying to walk around, but there is just debris everywhere, and your feet just kind of get sucked up into the mud on the ground here. It is just soaking wet and debris everywhere. People trying to sift through their homes, seeing what they can find. I have not, I heard Trooper Randolph talking about having difficulty getting first responders in. I have not seen very many first responders in this area, but I've not heard of anybody being trapped. It seems right now that people are mostly digging through, looking for belongings. We talked to some people who rode it out in a storm shelter behind their house here, and they said it took 3 men to hold down the door to the storm shelter because the tornado was that ferocious as it went over them. And a lot of people in this area, their children go to that Plaza Towers Elementary. Everyone is asking me, if I've heard anything, if they know anything, because there are several parents in here that I've talked to who are just hysterical, just beside themselves, obviously, as anyone would be, waiting to hear word about their children. Right now we're just looking at the 7-Eleven, and we can see there's bulldozers clearing the debris. When we first came on scene, you could just hear a violent hissing sound. They had a major gas leak. I think that they have gotten the gas turned off to this area, but just total devastation. I came to work here just after the May 3rd, so I missed all of that, and this is just, I personally have never seen anything like this, and I've worked in Oklahoma a long time, so we're just walking through this neighborhood hearing people's stories as they rode out this storm.
And Sarah, if you get a chance, we're going to check back right now with Lance West to find out exactly what the situation is at Plaza Towers Elementary, where we're told 75 children were sheltered during the storm. We're going to find out information for those parents that you're with, and we hope that some of the information can be good.
Let's go to Lance right now. Lance, what's the latest there from the elementary school?
Okay, they have just put some yellow tape around the school as they try to get back a lot of the folks who have been joining in the search efforts because, quite frankly, it is noisy, and if there are children who are crying or screaming for help, they can't get to them. So they're trying to get some hysterical parents back. Every possible emergency personnel is doing their best to pull the victims out alive. I did speak to a teacher. Her name was Rhonda, 6th grade teacher here. She is nothing short of a hero. She had 6 kids with her in the bathroom. She laid on top of them as the storm passed through. They are all alive, all accounted for. I also understand that the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade students were all accounted for and have been moved to a church that is in the area, and they are safe there. So right now, still unaccounted for, I suppose, kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd graders. Still no word on those kids right now, but parents are just now beginning to arrive. We've through all the mayhem. And as you can expect, they want to help. They're yelling at rescuers. Why aren't they doing more? But believe me, these folks are doing everything they can to save whoever may be trapped in this debris. They are about to bring in some heavy equipment. I see a tractor about 50 yards from me that they're trying to get in through this mass of humanity so they can hopefully remove some of the heavier debris and get to what's underneath. But for those who may just be joining us, we do know that the third grade class was in a hallway in a classroom taking refuge from the storm, and that part of the building is completely gone. There are no walls standing of this school. It is wiped to the foundation. It's just nothing more than a big pile of debris. And like I said before, we can only hope and pray for the best that they can find these kids and these teachers alive.
So, Lance, so we can pass this information on to parents, because there are some hysterical parents with Sarah Stewart right now whose children attend Plaza Towers Elementary. You're saying the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade students are all accounted for, and where are they?
They are at a church, which is about a quarter mile from here. I will see if I can get the information. The name of that church, I don't know right now, but I was told by the teacher that those grades were escorted there before the tornado hit. They were not in the school at the time, so they are safe. I've just walked up on another triage center. It's essentially a red tarp that's laid on the concrete. There's a woman here whose head is wrapped, a blanket over her. She is breathing. I suspect she's with a loved one right now. I don't know if she's associated with the school or not, because as we mentioned before, this school is in the middle of a neighborhood, and the neighborhood is gone as well. So there will be victims at the school, and I suspect in many of the homes around here as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, it sounds like there will be. And the folks got to know that those rescue workers have to step gingerly there. They can't move real quickly. They don't want to step on a student or that may be buried under some rubble. They want to listen for voices, maybe kids crying for help or just crying. And so that's why they have to move a little bit slower than maybe the parents would like.
Absolutely. And let me tell you, there are obviously raw emotions out here, even among the rescue workers. When a sergeant with the Oklahoma City Police Department was asking people to get back, he was tearing up as he was confronted by a father who was upset that they weren't doing more. So obviously it's traumatic for everybody, and they are doing everything in their power to get these kids, to get these faculty members out of this debris.
Lance, we hate to deal with numbers, but parents who are watching need to hear these numbers so they can understand what's transpiring, because the numbers tell the story. When we talked to you about an hour ago, 30 minutes ago, you said that 75 students were believed to be in the school at the time the twister hit. Is that still the case?
That is the last count that we had, that in this particular part of the school, and this is the only area of the school that they're searching in right now, it's the south portion of the school. I was told that there were 75 kids who took refuge in that home, which typically has those reinforced cinder block walls. Those are typically the safest place to go when a tornado hits if you can't go underground. Obviously, a tornado of this magnitude, it was unable to withstand Mother Nature, and that area is wiped out. We did talk to a parent earlier. 4th, 5th, and 6th graders apparently were taken out of the school
before it hit.
Before it hit. Now, because you talked about 30 that were taken out of the school and relocated at a church.
That is correct. I spoke to a parent, and he said early on, initially, there were 30 children that were taken out of this particular area of the school, the south portion. Now, I don't know that those include the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. I believe that they were gone before the tornado hit. They were evacuated and taken to a church, which is to our south. And I'm still trying to get some details on the name of that church. But that's sort of a rallying point right now for parents as they're looking for the kid.
And just to clarify one more time, it's the 3rd grade class that appeared to be in the hallway that searchers are looking for right now, some 3rd graders. Is that correct?
That's what I've heard from one rescuer and also from a teacher, that this was the area where the 3rd grade kids had taken refuge from the storm. And based on the young man who I saw pulled out a while back, I would say about the age, 3rd grade. Right. So maybe 8, 9 years old. And he was fine, along with a school teacher, and they have been taken off to a nearby hospital, I suspect, but they are alive and well. And the search continues tonight, and we're not going anywhere. We're going to be right here.
Lance West, thank you very much. We can't tell you how much we hope to be able to report that every one of those children is alive and well. We will continue to stay on top of it for you parents who can't make your way there. Our hearts go out to you.
Absolutely.
We feel for you. We're going to get you the information as quickly as we can and as accurately as we can.
Speaking of information, we need to get some new accurate information on the storm center right now. Let's go over to Mike Morgan for the latest on that. Mike.
Kevin, the tornado watch continues until 10 o'clock tonight. You see a lot of tornado warning counties here, but there are really just about 3 main storms in Oklahoma that are a potential threat to life right now in terms of tornadic activity. One is up here in Creek County, the other one is coming out of Garvin County, and the third one is in Love County to the southwest of Ardmore. Let's go to the storm tracker, and we'll take a look at each one of these locations. And the motion continues to be to the east-northeast at around 35 miles per hour. We have a storm up here moving into Creek County, which just had a confirmed tornado on it. This storm coming out of Garvin County. It's going to clip the northwestern corner of Pontotoc County and then go on up into southeastern Pottawatomie County and then up into Seminole County, and then the storm down coming out of Jefferson County into Love County. And the tornado warning has been lifted into Carter County because that storm is also lifted a little more to the north, and that puts Ardmore very much in more of a danger path on this storm down in southern Oklahoma. You folks getting us on cable down in Ardmore. Tornado warning for Carter County. That is a dangerous situation down there. Let's take a look. We'll zoom on in and take a look first of all at the storm over to the southeast. There is the hook near Stratford now, just to the north of Stratford, southeast of Byers. It is heading for Oil Center. Then it'll cross the river near Kanawha, Lake Kanawha, and then head on up towards Sasakwa. And this is going to be southeastern Pottawatomie County, heading into southern Seminole County and northwestern Pontotoc County. There's the time of arrival for that potential tornadic activity right there. And you see it is moving to the east-northeast, putting these towns in danger, especially Kanawha is pretty much red line, center line for that possible tornado, also on the northern sides of Stratford. So it's just now moving out of Garvin County, heading into Pontotoc County. The storm up here had a tornado on it just a few moments ago, south of Depew and northwest of Welty, a little ways northwest of IXL, southwest of Bristow. That is heading for Depew, on down toward Bristow at 528, and then down toward Beggs by about 6 p.m. Beggs is a suburb in southwestern Tulsa, and it's going to be heading through Creek County up into northwestern Okmulgee County and then into southern Tulsa County. And then one more, this storm down here to the south, which is in Love County and Jefferson County, that is trying to head into Carter County for you folks in Ardmore. That is a tornado warning on that particular storm as well. You can clearly see the little notch there, a little bit of a hook south of Ringling, and that's down by, just came out of the Cornish area, Ringling, and it is heading for Lone Grove and Ardmore. And we would want to express to you that these are organized supercells down here, very, very large, and we would want you to give you a heads up in Ardmore and Lone Grove with the conditions that are over us today atmospherically. Obviously, a lot of destruction is certainly possible with these storms, and you do need to pay attention very carefully and be prepared to go to your safe spot in Lone Grove and Ardmore, because this storm is a supercell. It has organized significant rotation. There's another one down on the Red River a little way southwest of Ryan. It's still in northern Texas. So this is south central Oklahoma. It'll cross I-35 very close to Overbrook and down by Lake Murray and the Ardmore area in about 25 minutes. Kevin, Linda, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Mike. I mentioned earlier that John Welsh and Bob Moore Kfor had come back to refuel, get back up in the air, get back over to Moore in the heavily damaged area, not too far from where he lives, and he's there, Linda.
John Welsh, we're told you're near 19th Street. Now, what are we seeing? We're seeing a lot of police cars and an ambulance moving into an area. Why are they all congregated there?
That's the Moore parking lot there. Well, that's actually, let me see where you at. Back out just a second, Travis. Okay, yeah, that's the corner parking lot right there by the hospital. That's on 4th Street and Telephone Road right there by that Norman Regional Hospital there. And we're just assuming earlier, before we had to go get gas, they had some people out on some stretchers that they looked like they were going to put in an ambulance and probably transport to another hospital that can provide them some better care. Just because, look at that. That right there is the main entrance into the hospital. All those cars are wedged. It looks like a flood. It looks like a flood. Water just picked all that up, shoved it right there in the V part of the hospital. And again, that's the main entrance right there. That is, you're looking kind of towards the northwest. So that's pretty much the track of the storm. It picked up those houses, and as Travis will back out and we'll kind of pan to the right, you'll see the neighborhood that I guarantee you some of those cars came from. Right there you see those houses, and they could have been in the parking lot, could have been right there, but there's definitely a lot of that debris that's right there in that bottleneck spot came from this area here. And that, like I said, that's just going to be just to the west side of Telephone Road, south of 4th Street, basically directly across the street from the Moore, I think it's the Moore Norman Hospital there.
John, for people not familiar with the Moore area, tell us about this medical center we're looking at. Is that their hospital? Is that a series of doctors' offices? What is the Moore Medical Center?
No, Linda, it is a hospital. They do some, I believe, some minor surgery there. I think they have an emergency room. They built another hospital down there on Tecumseh Road, which is just about 4 miles south of here. They don't have an ER. So this is an ER hospital. I mean, they deliver babies. They do some surgery. And, I mean, it's an all-out hospital. If Travis will back out just a little bit, you'll see right there in the bottom left of the screen, that's a post office. To the left of that is a bank that is completely gone, and an insurance company that used to be there. So this whole area right here was hard hit, and you know, there's a bowling alley right there that's been completely demolished, the AMC bowling alley right there by the Warren. And as Travis will pan up or zoom out and go back right there by the IMAX, the new IMAX edition they added, and see the colors, Travis, if you'll zoom in right there. That's the relief that they're setting up right there, the command post, right there by the IMAX, the new addition to the Warren Theater. It's just on the north side of it. You know, they have some trucks in there trying to move what appears to be some of these power poles that have been laid down. You can see all the debris. The debris, what is striking to me, on top of the roof, they have a roof like we do. It's just a plastic or rubber vinyl roof over, you know, a flat pitch. Well, they've got shingles and stuff on there that came from the neighboring houses. So that
John,
building, when they put it up, yeah, go ahead.
And John, I know we've got a lot of frantic parents wondering about that rescue effort over at Plaza Tower Elementary. I know you're heading that way.
Yep, we'll be on it here in a second.
Yeah, as soon as you get there, let us know what you're seeing.
Keep going left and straight down. It's right at my door.
While you're moving to that location,
okay,
John, in listening to the scanners, which I know that you're listening to, have you heard an all-call for rescue workers? We talked to Betsy Randolph with the OHP, Oklahoma Highway Patrol, about 24 minutes ago, according to my notes. And she said responders were having a very difficult time even getting in to the area because I-35, as you had told us before, traffic had been stopped so people couldn't drive into the storm. But then you had traffic backed up for miles with nowhere to go, and now responders can't get through.
Yeah, it's a definite, and when we got gas to go, people asked me they're ready to go home, and they said, hey, how can we get out of here? And I said, well, you might just want to, you know, I know it stinks, you got to stay here tonight, but you're going to clog up the roadway with people that need to get on here. It might not be a bad idea just to stay in place. I-35 at Indian Hills Road on the northbound lane is backed up all the way to 110A, which is going to be the Robinson Street exit there in Norman. So traffic is backed up all the way there. I'm looking back to the north, and I'm not really seeing any traffic on southbound I-35, so they have to be backed up or shut down probably about the I-40 to Dallas Junction. So I don't know if they're sending them down I-44 or other ways, or if maybe they just stop the roadway completely. But again, on these, like on let's see here, on Santa Fe, just south of 4th Street, there's still cars that are blocked up right there, and part of this is from the police did a great job blocking people off when they saw where the damage path was, and they weren't even letting people continue to climb in there or to continue to drive in there. So I think part of that's a backlash of that. And now in some of these neighborhoods, people are coming home, they're getting off work or they left work, and they want to see, you know, the state of their house and, you know, see their belongings and maybe make sure loved ones are still there.
And that's the
so I'm seeing a
school
lot more cars in what used to be these housing additions.
John,
but
let's focus
what
on,
Travis is showing you right now is the Plaza Towers.
Yeah, that elementary school, John, and it looks like they're moving in a bunch of those backboards.
Yeah, that's the. Hang on one second,
Sure, you go right ahead. Now, Lance West is there on the scene. I'm trying to see if we can see him from this vantage point. You can, if you were with us about 11 minutes ago when we talked to Lance, he said that the authorities there, the search and rescue crews, had set up that yellow tape. You see it there at the bottom of the screen. They had cordoned off the area to keep parents and others back so that they could hear if there were any cries for help from faculty or students believed to be trapped in that rubble. Lance West told us previously that one of the rescuers on the scene indicated 75 children and or faculty could have been in the school when the twister hit. Lance also said that third graders were in a hall where they sought cover, and the third grade class is now the focus of much of this investigation and much of this search right now.
And he also told us that many of the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, we believe, were led out and were okay at a church there. But of course, our concerns right now are for those little ones that may be trapped in there.
And they were let out before the storm hit. They were moved to another location before the storm hit this school.
Right.
So our concern right now is for the children and faculty who may still be under that rubble. And if we can go back to Lance, and I don't know, Irish Stogner is producing for us right now. She may be able to contact him, and if so, we'd like to know where he is so that we can zoom on him on Chopper 4 to show what his perspective is of that scene, because we've been going to him live.
He's down there somewhere getting information, but again, he may have been moved back, Linda, back beyond those yellow lines there. So he may be just getting information of what they're telling him right now, not getting firsthand stuff. The information relays between different emergency agencies, and that's what sometimes takes so long.
Lance, we're right over the scene right now. Can you describe to us where you are?
Yes, I see Bob Moore Chopper 4. It is to the west of me, and I am standing where a whole bunch of folks are gathered. They're bringing out some boards, some stretchers. What looks to be like an all-out effort here momentarily. The National Guard has arrived. I do have reason to believe that they have found some victims. I asked one of the medics if he could confirm. He just put his head down and said, I can't answer that.
Okay. Well, there's so much raw emotion out there right now. And we said earlier, when you actually are on the scene itself, because we've all covered these before, through the prism of television, it's not like it is when you're on the scene and you're seeing the anguish of the parents and of the rescuers and of little ones being pulled out. And it's a very, very tough job. Lance is doing a great job of it right now.
And of course, we're focused right now on Plaza Towers Elementary, but keep in mind that this whole section of Moore is very similar to this. If people were not underground, their chances of surviving this storm were not in their best interests. It was a horrific storm. Mike Morgan says that, in his opinion, it was 3 times more intense than that tornado that struck this same general area May 3rd, 1999. He said this storm was 20 miles long, 2.5 miles wide in terms of the debris ball as it moved through this area. He believes it will probably be designated an F4 or an F5 tornado. And if you look at the damage that we're even seeing from this distance, there's no doubt in your mind that this storm was horrific.
Absolutely. As we continue to look at John's shot there from Bob Moore Chopper 4, Travis Shutton is running the camera for him again tonight, as he was last night. Let's talk to Allie Meyer, who's on the phone. We'll continue to show you the rescue effort here. But Allie is at Eastern and I-240. We're worried about first responders being able to get in, Allie. What are you seeing right now? Are they able to get where they need to go?
Yes, Linda and Kevin, I'm quite a bit further north from where Lance and the chopper is. I was on I-35 southbound, and what they've done is they've shut down I-35 southbound traffic at I-240. They are diverting all I-35 southbound traffic to I-40 east or westbound. They have reserved those lanes, all 4 lanes of southbound I-35 traffic, for first responders only. And I can tell you that those lanes are being used right now. I saw the Edmond Fire Department, their large semi-truck ready full of equipment headed southbound, Midwest City Ambulance, Edmond Fire Department, OHP, and countless other agencies screaming, lights and sirens going, headed southbound to the Moore area. Unfortunately, I just saw one northbound ambulance with lights and sirens running. There aren't a lot of ambulances coming out right now with victims. I assume they'd be headed to OU Medical Center for the most critical injuries anyway, but a lot of southbound first responder traffic on I-35. Of course, you know they're going to have a lot of trouble once they get off I-35 and get into those areas of most serious damage. But for right now, I-35 traffic, if you're headed to Norman or south of Oklahoma City, I-35 southbound is not an open road for you right now. They are reserving those lanes for first responder traffic only.
And Allie, as you describe what's going on there, let me interject here that when we talked to Betsy Randolph from the Oklahoma Highway Patrol about 35 minutes ago, she said it is an all call for first responders in Moore, Oklahoma. So if you're at home watching this and you have the abilities and the talents and the knowledge to be of help in this area, and if you are authorized to be a first responder, we ask that you move to that area immediately.